Hey guys, it's Josh Pilato, also known as the RS Felon. As always, let me start by apologizing in advance for the background audio during these clips because I live in a halfway house right now and there's always people moving around, talking, doing laundry, etc., etc. So sorry about that. Let's get right into it. Here's my Hardcore Ironman update right here. Obviously you can see I got a Hobgoblin's task from Vanaka. The bastard ended up giving me Ankus, however you want to say it, after that, and I had to go back and reset my streak at Terrail and go back to like birds and crap, but went ahead and did this. As you can see right here, I brought too much damn food, so I had to drop trick to bury some bones, and then, well, there was nothing else for it. I'm hardcore. I'm not going to just drop the cake on the ground because I had to go steal more. So, ran on back to Falador, ran to the bank, threw my crap in there, turned around and came back. As always, living up to my name, the worst Hardcore Ironman, because you can see that I forgot to bank the loot that I already had obtained. So, started striking out running, and then immediately, whoops, go back. Go put this shit in the bank because I don't need it. Headed on back to the Hobgoblins, got there, and I was training attack at this point so I could, get a little more accuracy. Incoming 35 attack right there, had it happen. At 20 Slayer, shortly thereafter I missed 21, but there's 22. And went back to Terrail, and I think it was Terrail, maybe it was Vanaka, I'm pretty sure it was Terrail, but he ended up giving me cave crawlers, so they're poisonous. At this point I knew of no method except for making anti-poison in order to survive, so I had 2 Guam leaves and 2 Marintals in my bank. Decided that I had to make some potions for the first time. I'd used some genies, I think, on Herblore. That's how I got level 4, if I'm not mistaken. I was at level 4 before that. So, walked my happy ass to Taverley because I couldn't remember what was in the shop there. And I'm not using Google or any searches or anything, and I just was like, I'm pretty sure there's an Herblore shop. Luckily, I was correct. Got some vials of water there, got my Eyes of Newt, and thankfully was able to make some anti-poisons. Turns out that I ended up counting because of how quick they went. There's my attack potions right there. Boom. What do you know? Well, I guess I only made one at a time. But yep, gave me Herblore level 5, which is exactly what I needed. Right with the exact amount of supplies. Got lucky. And then it was time to make some Marintals. Some anti-poisons with my Marintals. So I went ahead and made the unfinished potions, obviously. But I didn't have any unicorn horn dust. So I had to go to Varrock. Take the long way there. Found out that anti-poisons are about 90 seconds. Check that out, went the wrong way again. Worst Hardcore Ironman. Striking off into Falador. So I remembered that I had seen one in the Varrock mine a few days before, so I went back to hunt for them, and bam, I actually found them just south of there. So needed to harvest the horns. Did the worst thing that you can do in the Harry Potter series and slaughtered me some unicorns. So got the horns, looted them up, and yeah, the 90 second per dose of anti-poison giving you poison protection is not very significant. Here's me grinding up my very first ever horns on the account. I feel really weird yelling unicorns in a halfway house, but hey, everybody knows I'm playing a game. And it gave me Herblore level 6, so whenever I made the anti-poisons, good grief. Headed on over here to the Varrock sword shop because I had accumulated some GP from hopping worlds and selling swords, and decided to go ahead and upgrade myself to an Addy Long. Felt pretty good. Went ahead and did it and decided to save my Myth Simi to sell back to Zeke's Superior Scimitars in Alcarid. I'd worked a really long time to get it. That felt great right there, dancing right in the middle of the Dark Wizards. It's a big relief, big load off my mind being a Hardcore Ironman. Decided to go back and I wanted to get some crafting XP while I was in between the Slayer tasks, so I went and mined some clay. Learned all about this and had never done this before. As you can see, I tried to use the clay straight on the potter's wheel. Did not work. Turns out it has to be wet. So it's been a long time since I made any kind of crafting stuff of this sort because it's not the best XP. Tried to use it directly on the sink. No. Let's go around to this side where the water is. No, of course not. It's just not how the game works. It's not going to let me do it that easily. So I figured, well, I guess I'll have to have some kind of vessel to hold the water. Walked back over and saw a well. So then let me just try it on that. Fuck it. And no such luck, of course. So with my one bucket, I grabbed it and walked back over to the well. Didn't really know exactly what I was doing, but I remember doing this back in 2004, 2005, probably the only time I ever did it, to be honest. And there we go, it worked. So now that I was a little less confused, what else could I do? Nothing else for it. Fill up the bucket, dump it on some clay. Fill up the bucket, dump it on some clay. I did one inventory of this because I was just kind of doing it as a test run to see how much crafting XP it would get because I didn't, worst Hardcore Ironman, I didn't remember that tanning hides, cow hides, is only 1 GP each, and I had 96 in the bank from when I was lower level. So I was thinking, man, it's 50 GP each or something to tan those. I can't do that, man. So I was doing this to get my crafting up to where I could do some bowstrings or something, and make some money fletching. So there we go. I started making them, realized they're like 6 experience points each. I felt like I'd remembered 60, but that would be OP as hell. And then I started baking them up. At this point, I decided this was not good XP. Just barely got level 6 there. Went ahead and banked it, looking pissed off, doing a little stomp emote because that didn't work how I planned. Before I went back to cave crawlers, I also decided to, oh look, there I go with the Quizmaster, boom, boom, boom. This was almost disappointing to me, but funny at the same time. Mystery box, of course. Pop that puppy open, and Mithril Scimitar. What the hell? After all that work that I did for the first one, mining all that crappy copper ore. But, oh well, I had it. I'd sell it back to Zeke's Superior Scimitars. So I had 527 feathers left over from whenever I was fletching last time, or maybe I got them from a random, I don't even remember. I decided to go ahead and burn through those. And I didn't know that there is a permanently burning fire there at the fishing spot in Barbarian Village. Love it. That was so convenient because I wouldn't go bank until I had a full inventory of cooked fish, no matter what it was. And as you can see, I just was getting gains left and right, except for that gold ring. Could have got a little bit better loot from the pirate. But just kept fishing, man, and fished all the way through my feathers. There's the very last one there. So for my cave crawlers task, I decided to go try it where I remembered them being, which was the Lumbered Swamp Caves, with a lit candle. Check that out. Almost lost my hardcore status. Candle flares brightly. Lit it again, and just tried to run for it. So it wasn't very smart of me. I had 2 little 3-dose anti-poisons, and I decided that that was going to do something. So there I am informing my friends that my candle exploded. So I go back in and try it again. Yep, exploded again. Not the brightest thing I possibly could have done, I guess. Yep, candle flares brightly. Trying to see in the dark so I don't get bit by the insects. Boom! Blew up again. Man, 200 IQ here, man. Yep. This is how it almost all ended because I got stuck in this cycle where I was scared of the bugs, but I was also scared of exploding. And there we go. 4 explosions, man. Look at how fast I was tapping trying to get out of there. Obviously, I had a very high chance of death. But luckily I was smashing cakes and managed to tank it, I guess. If I'd have done this at a lower level, man, it would have been over with. So I decided to do what I should have done in the first place and just go to the Stronghold Slayer Cave. As you can see here, the very first time, I forgot my anti-poisons. Then I came back with them, realized they lasted 90 seconds, and I used both of them before I killed 2. So there you have it. There's me hopping because I heard in my clan chat about this 1-dose super anti-poison that I could just go pick up by the watchtower. Grabbed a couple of those. Then I went and grabbed 25 thieving while I was on that side of the map, went back to the cave crawlers. So there's my attack level right there, got 38 at that point. And headed on slaying. And for a low-level hardcore Iron Man, I didn't think the drops were that bad. I got a couple nature runes, which is going to come in handy when I get high alch, obviously. There's another Slayer level coming in, 23. And a couple herbs. And I feel like for being really low level and not really having much farming yet, I feel like I've got a decent start on herbs. But I certainly don't exactly have enough to just make everything that I need. So we'll see later what happens whenever I get started on farming. I ran out of food, as you can see from that clip. Ran back to go bank. 2 cave crawlers left. I had 2 left, and I ran all the way down there. So, well, what do you do, man? You suck it up and you run back. There I go. Completed the task. And then I had bears and then scorpions. I didn't film any of the bears. That was pretty ho-hum, but went ahead and filmed the scorpions, which have 0 drops. And while I was in Alcred, I decided to go ahead and mine some more iron because I recently got the smithing level for steel. And as you probably saw in the last video, you know that I was cool with that. Also decided to grab some crafting levels while I was here. Realized the price check was 1 GP each for the leather and felt like an ass. Check out that XP, 366,999. So I tanned all my cowhides. Only had about 100 saved up from when I was very low level. I knew that one day I'd need them for crafting. Hit the crafting store and then finished tanning all of my hides. And just hoping with every fiber of my being that I would get some decent crafting levels from this. So finished tanning all the leather and tried to make some boots, level 7, of course. So back to the leather gloves. There we go. It's pretty quick XP. That's a slightly sped up clip right there. But I mean, look, you can see 1 inventory and it already got me to level 7. So I was then prepared to make some boots, which I did not hesitate to do. Now I got a really funny looking bank because every time that I leveled up and could make the next thing, I would just start doing it. There's 8, there's 9, there's 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So had a couple letters left. Check that out. That irked me. And 8 experience points to level 15. And for some reason, I'm one of those players that likes all my skills to end in 5 or 0. after doing that real quick, I went ahead and headed back to the mines, started banging out some more iron ore, saving up to basically do some steel bars. And I had some, there's another mining level. I had some coal left over in my bank from the last video. If you recall, I accidentally mined 3-to-1 coal to iron. I'm not sure what that was for, but I felt the need to do it. And so I decided I was going to go ahead and smelt some steel bars with that left over. And got a random event, 80 GP. Yeah, me being a HCIM, I was not about to waste that 80 GP. So I actually juggled it. I juggled 2 iron ore so that I could keep the 80 GP. And that's no XP waste, no money waste, but it might be a little bit of a time waste. And time is money is XP. So either way, I decided not to waste the 1 iron ore, and I ran back and forth until I had successfully placed it in my bank. Took a couple of trips, and there we go. Grabbed it, all good. Didn't lose anything. I used the remaining coal that I had before I got started on the next part of this project to go ahead and smelt steel bars and then smith all the arrowheads that I could. I think it was 60, 66 I had left, and it got me 37 smithing. So I made myself a nice steel full helm. Upgrade, baby. Much better than my steel medium helm. Went ahead and got started making these steel arrowheads. And once I'd finished all the remaining steel bars that I had, I decided to embark on a much bigger project that was going to take a lot longer, but I figured it would make me some good money as well as get me some good XP. And so there you can see that in the end I made 960 arrowheads out of the remaining steel bars that I had. And I was pretty happy with it. Arrow tips, I guess I should say. And at this point I decided that before too long, if I keep up the Slayer, I'm going to need some more potions. So, very first farm run. I didn't actually get myself planting it on footage. I thought I did for some reason, but just from harvesting potatoes, look, I got 3 right there. Went ahead and planted another round. I had made my own compost with all the raked weeds, so I grabbed an inventory full of buckets, loaded them up, and just stuck them with the leprechaun, obviously. I had actually obtained most of those seeds. I got a few from hobgoblins, and most of them I got from training magic on the Varrock guards. And they drop potato seeds, onion seeds, and cabbage seeds every once in a while. So I didn't have very many, man, but it was enough to get me started, and I was willing to do it. And guarantee you I'm not dropping them on the ground. There's 5, I can grow onions now. I was pretty happy about that, man. Hardcore Ironman gives you a new perspective. At this point I decided to go ahead and go buy a new pickaxe. This was a pretty big deal to me, selling my mithril back and getting adamant, because whenever I buy a rune pickaxe, it's going to be the last one I ever buy on this account. I'll never have a dragon pickaxe because I'm not going in the wilderness. So looking like a boss, I had to slap my helmet on while I was running there. Sorry for the editing being fast-paced, but I edit the videos beforehand and then just live commentary over them. That's when I realized I forgot to insure my potatoes. Buddy said, not necessary. I said, I'm going back. Sorry, Landon, I'm heading back to go insure those potatoes. I'm not letting them die whenever I work that hard. And just like I told him, I killed like 200 guards to get those 37 potato seeds, not wasting them, so it only cost 2 composts. I actually found this, I didn't know. I clicked on the staircase and it popped me up the foul door. So I had been running all the way from that foul door bank that I was standing right next to right then, going all the way around down into the Dwarven Mines to get to Motherlode Mine. Yeah, worst hardcore Ironman. You're gonna hear that phrase a lot. My friends know it, they all tell me. Looking up, doing all this stuff with absolutely no guides, like I'm 12 years old again and just learning the game and didn't know how to use Tippet or RuneWiki or a RuneHQ as we had back then. It's actually a lot of fun, man, but it does waste me a lot of time. So went back in this house, went up and down those stairs, you can see, and I was confused. It doesn't, what did I say, doesn't it only come up? Can't go back down it? I was very confused. I was like, what the hell? And then I noticed, wow, wasn't even in the right house. So, for fuck's sake, wrong house. Straight up went the wrong way. Went over here, no big deal. Back to Motherlode Mine, getting the grind going, because my goal at this point is to mine, let me think. I had 325 iron ore, so I needed to mine 650 coal. And Motherlode Mine is by far the fastest way for me to get coal. I don't even want the gold ore that's coming into my inventory, to be honest, but I figure it'll come in handy for later. So, plus the gold nuggets will add up to a prospector outfit. And there we go, 325 coal, and getting started on the iron. I got 217 of them, and while I was on my way back over here, I got 50 mining. So, sorry for the fast-paced video. I edited it without thinking about how it would translate to talking. It kind of stood alone without voice, I think, but I like to explain what's going on. So, thank you all. Stay subscribed. I'm grinding hard. I already got the next video in the works. I've already been editing it and filming. So, thanks a lot for the support. Leave a comment, rate, subscribe, everything. You know the drill. Thanks a lot, guys. It's the RS Felon, Josh Block. Have a good day.